welcome to the Activity Call Live. Now, let's hear it for our special guest host, Mike Hartlieb.
Good morning, Alliance family. How you all doing today? Fired up to be on the call. I'm honored that I was asked to come on to do this call. But I got to tell you guys something. The call is about how to get people started fast, okay? And I got two studs on here. Why do I call them studs? They're my heroes. It's Terry Edwards and Jason Mathis. Why do I have them on here? Well, for instance, Terry Edwards last month had 39 unique writers with four new writers on for last month. Jason had 82 unique writers with 9 new writers last month. And I'm going to be talking to them because I need to know what they're doing so I can copy what they're doing. These guys are the reason I call them a hero. Heroes are somebody that I respect, and I respect their results. And these two guys are setting the example. So let's start off. Let's bring on Terry Edwards. I'd like to have Terry come on. I want to ask him a couple questions if we could.
Big Mike, good morning, Alliance family. What is up, baby?
Your energy got me going, brother.
Hey, baby. I was watching this show one time that I shouldn't have been watching. DD4L, little dance troupe, and the little lady that runs them, her name is Diana. She said, when you get up ready, you ain't got to get ready, baby.
That's right. That's right. So, Terry, man, you're killing it right now, okay? And I got a couple questions. One of the first questions I have in my head is when you hire what are you trying to accomplish when you hire somebody for when you first hire them? What are you trying to accomplish?
Well, first of all, Big Mike, thank you for asking me to participate on this call with you. Also, got to throw out a big shout out to Jason and Olga Mathis, man. Just imagine, man, it was just 7 years ago. I had just lost my job, didn't have really a plan B. And Jason so happened to throw a Craigslist ad out in Atlanta, and I responded to that ad. So I'm forever grateful for him and Andy Albright for creating an opportunity where if you want it, you can go get it. So the first thing is this right here, Mike. When I'm hiring somebody, when I'm bringing somebody into the business, right? Number one, before I bring them in, like a lot of people want to hire the dude, want to hire the girl who's going to go out here and crush it. The first thing that, in my mind, I got to be the man. I got to be that dude, right? So I got to be that dude because I think it was Cora Booker. He said this. He said, leadership is not a position or a title. It's an action and an example. And then the legendary coach, John Wooden, he says the most powerful leadership tool you have is your personal example. So before I hire somebody, I want to make sure that I'm that guy. I am somebody worth following. Does that make sense? So
yes,
I want to make sure that I'm an influencer. You see, a lot of people might, they want the income. But baby, give me influence all day long. See, influence is the ability to get people to move in a direction that's good for them and good for us. So it's just being that dude. Being that dude means, you know what, plugging into the TWCs, the activity calls, the product calls, the plugging into the big events. Like the dude already got their ticket for national convention. The girl who's going to do this thing, Mike, they already got their NatCon ticket. So I look at my group, right? I'm like, okay, I got my ticket. And then we got 32 other people done got their ticket. And we ain't done. We're going to have 75 people up in there. Jason invited me to a night owl. I think he said that Rachel and Jared and them going to have a night owl at this Airbnb or whatever. But my thing is this right here. My team ain't going to be able to fit up in there. They're gonna have to take the roof off of that mother for us to get up in there. But so the first thing is like being that dude, giving people an example worth following. And what that means is winning, guys. Like winning, like win at whatever you want. So one of the first things that I want to figure out for somebody is when they saw this opportunity, when they connected with me, what did they see that this opportunity can provide that they are missing? I'm trying to find out what is it that they want, because I do believe that if you help enough people get what they want, you do get what you want by default. So whereas a lot of times I'm trying to figure out what is it that they want, what type of income are they wanting to generate, or what attracted them to this business. And then it's like, okay, but let's take it a step further. Just like in the house, when we are sitting down with a client, we're trying to figure out an emotional attachment to why they filled out that form or they went online and requested us to come out and help them. And we know in the home, we have to build that why deep to get past the surface level. So on the flip side, we have to do the same thing in recruiting. So if a person tells me they want to make, I don't know, $2,000 a month on the side, right? I'm trying to figure out, okay, that's great. But what is that $2,000 a month? What is that going to do for you? What is that going to do for you? And I want to hear, is it going to help get the water line from here to here that they can breathe a little better, that when the hot water heater go out and they get 2 flat tires, it's not like a financial crisis in their household. So what is that $2,000 or whatever it is? What is it that is going to provide for them? And then I take it a step further, Mike. What was your plan before we talked? Because if you slow people, sometimes we have to slow down in order to speed up. So we have to get people thinking and sometimes get them out of their emotions, but also thinking, what was the plan before you and I connected? Because guess what, Big Mike? If they already had a plan and they are not progressing, we got a situation. We got a situation, Big Mike. So now we at a situation of, okay, well, if you had a plan, why didn't that plan work? Was it you were in the wrong opportunity? Was it you were with the wrong people? Or this one right here, Big Mike, ooh, was it the man in the mirror? See, because past performance don't necessarily tell us where somebody is going, but it sure enough was tell us where they've been. So we don't hold people hostage to their past, but guess what? The past is a good indication of where they've been. So that's the first thing that I'm trying to find out, Mike, because guess what? People will fight harder for what they want for themselves than what you want for them, because they're already thinking that you just want to make money off me. But they don't know all of the time, the preparation, the reading, the going out, doing the do that we've put in to be able to lead them. They just think they show up and they're the answer to our prayer, when in actuality, more than likely, we are the answer to their prayer. So that's the first thing that I'm trying to find out, Big Mike. What is it that they want? We got that success coin. What do you want? How do you get it, right? So finding out what they want. And then the next thing that I'm trying to figure out, Big Mike, is why is there a disconnect between what you want and what you have? So why haven't you gotten it? What has been your biggest barriers to the success that you want? So now I'm trying to figure out what is it that I need to provide for my team to support them. And guess what? Everybody is not the same. Everybody has a story. Everybody has, their situation. So I'm trying to get up and find out their situation. We did a call a while back, and I remember Andy Albright taught this thing called Song and Key. Song, S-O-N-G. What is a person's situation? What do they have going on, right? What is their organization? The O stands for organization. What does it look like for them? Like, what does their home life look like? Do they got support system? If you're dealing with a single mom, it's like, okay, how are we going to handle childcare and things of that nature, right? Norms. What are they accustomed to? All right. And then G, goals. Where do they want to go? So the first thing, Mike, is connecting them, trying to figure out what they want. Then I'm trying to figure out why they don't have what they want. And then last but not least, I'm trying to figure out how I can add value in those areas that they've been deficient. Because there are a lot of people out here doing what we do. What's going to make us different? I feel like what makes the dream team different is that we genuinely have a concern for the whole person, the mind, the body, and the soul. We want to help them financially and emotionally. So that's kind of like my mindset of when we're first hiring somebody. Before we even get into the nuts and bolts, I need to get to know who I'm working with and what they have going on.
Well, I've been taking notes here left and right. And, the one thing that really stood out to me is why you don't have what you wanted already. I mean, that's a great question to ask people. I mean, I never thought of it like that. So you wanted that, so why don't you have it?
Because, and this is the other thing, Mike, a lot of times when people come into this business, instead of dropping their ego, a lot of times they try to tell us, well, I ain't going to do this, or I ain't going to do that. But let me tell you what happened when I first got started, Big Mike. So let me set the stage. Just lost my job, 6-figure income, no other plan B. I had a little money in savings, right? But when you're used to living the lifestyle, it take a lot of money. And if you got more money going out and coming in, it's going to be a situation real soon. So when I talked to Jason Mathis on the phone, I remember it just as clear day. He said, Terry, we got a system. I said, oh, that means it don't matter about a lot of other stuff because I know a system works. Like a system is no respecter of person. He said, we got a system. And if you do these 8 steps, consistently, that's the key word, consistently. See, Andy Riddle was on a call. I was talking to him the other day. He said, a lot of people say showing up is half the battle. He said, no, baby. It's consistently showing up. So Jason said, if you consistently follow these 8 steps, you're going to make a 6-figure income. Now, I didn't have a plan B. So I was just like, well, just because I've had success in the past don't mean I'm going to have success here. Let me do what these guys tell me to do. Because at least in my mind, if I do what they tell me to do and it don't work, at least I can point the finger at them. But if I try to be all smart in my infinite wisdom, right, and it don't work, my family, my Tia, going to be looking at me like, bro, what's the problem? So like following the system and being coachable and just knowing, bro, like we got something that's very special. In other opportunities, you might look up and make some money. But I like to say this right here, Big Mike. In our system, we don't have nobody working not making money. It is impossible to run 20 appointments a week and not make issue pay $20,000 a month. So it's like that's what I'm thinking. Like we got a system. Like don't tinker with it. Come on. But I got to be that dude first.
Wow. So another thing I'm hearing you say before I bring on Jason is you're getting people to do the little things and then they start doing the big things.
Yeah. And so big things, in my opinion, is a combination of small things. See, everything that's big, it started out small, right? So the first thing I had to do was be the dude But then the second thing that I had to do, Big Mike, I had to go get me some dudes and girls. So check this out right here. So I like watching NFL football, right? And the quarterback or the offensive coordinator, they be like, yeah, we passed the ball. We had 8 different receivers, touch the ball on the day. See, when you build a freaking factory, bruh, one of your studs can get double covered, be on lockdown, triple cover, or he might just be having a bad day. But when you got a stable, when Michael Jordan is having a bad day, Charles Barkley is picking up the pace. That was the dream team that restored American basketball on the global scale, right? You had Dominique Wilkins. You had all these different, you cannot key in on one person. So on a business perspective, we wanted to get wide because we knew that we had to find this many people to get this many people to do something, right? But guess what? Once you get like already this month, Big Mike, and we are on the 14th, we've had 22 people already issue pay business in October. We done got 22 people, right? But this is the thing. I was talking to a gentleman and he was like, Terry, I just feel like I can't get nobody to do nothing. I'm like, bro, first of all, you got to be the dude. But second of all, this right here. So he said he can't get nobody to do nothing. So he stopped recruiting or slowed down recruiting. And I'm like, so the people, either you're closing them on your vision and where we're going, or they are closing you. So you mean to tell me that you're going to let the people who ain't putting points up, they're going to close you to tell you that your opportunity ain't worth talking about no more. Big Mike, let me tell you something. Alliance Nation, Jason Mathis, let me tell you something. What we are on the brink of accomplishing, we will shout it from the rooftop. That we are in an all-out blitz against poverty. We got poverty by the neck, and we're going to choke the life of it. So it's like getting more people. And this is the thing, Big Mike, a lot of times people aren't going to come ready-made. Like finding somebody that can come in day one and write 20,000 a month, that's like finding a needle in the haystack. The other thing about our business, Big Mike, is 95% of our business is warm market. So we believe that if you grow people, people grow the business. So it's taken us time because we deal with people that ain't got no license most of the time. Somebody cousin than them, somebody co-worker, somebody pastor. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, guess what? Yes, we love the big stories. We also love what some people would consider the little stories. But if somebody's story is they're making an additional $1,000 a month on top of their job, to me, that's a big story. You can sell that story to Lottie, Dottie, and everybody that you come in contact with. So yes, I'm in finding a lot of people that do a little bit. You're going to find a needle in the haystack. You're going to find a Megan Wood. You're going to find a Brian Rojas. You're going to find a Michelle Colin. You're going to find a Stephanie Rodriguez. You're going to find a Olga Mathis. You're going to find a Terry and Tia Edwards, right? So we can't write people off. And in that moment, Big Mike, and I'm going to shut up because I know you got to turn Jason loose, but this is the thing. It's all about creating an environment where people can evolve. Create an environment where people can belong before they can behave. And then all of a sudden, they go to a big event, or they go to a boot camp, or they go somewhere and they hear something else. And they start, and it just starts to click. You know, Sebastian Chambers, his team is growing like crazy. Kathy Hepburn down in Houston, Texas. Kathy has been hanging around for about 3 years, right? And it's just now that something has clicked for Kathy. I don't know what it is. It's not that one magic pill, but all of a sudden she's now selling, she's recruiting, and she's building. But it's taken her through, but we created an environment where she could belong and behave until she worked out whatever she needed to work out. And guess what? I can't take no credit for what she's doing because she's the ones that's making the dial and running the appointments. The only thing that I can say is I think I did a good job creating an environment that kept her hanging around. And sometimes it's not all about and see, people don't rise to the occasion. They rise to the level of their self-esteem. So a lot of times we have to build up people's self-esteem to let them know you got this. Despite what it looks like on paper, your tomorrow is going to be better than today. So keeping people connected to their dream and to their hope and to their vision until they build up enough confidence to pursue. So that's the other part of getting people to stick around and do is like, you know what, man, it might take a while, but while it's taking a while for them to do what they need to do, I still can go out and personally produce. I still can go out and write. That I'm not 100% dependent on finding the man, because Ric Flair said to be the man, you got to beat the man, baby. So while they are finding themselves, I'm going to still go out and win, because all I do is win, 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 no matter what, and I'm going to throw my hands in the air and stay there.
That's a lot of information, brother. I've been taking notes here left and right, and I just, it's all about the culture that you set up there, the environment, and oh, geez, I mean, we're gonna do a recap on this, but let me bring on Jason, because before you say anything else, Jason's got to follow that, and let me tell you why Jason is here. He's another hero. Why? Well, he's another banker like Terry Edwards. He found Terry Edwards. Last month, he had 82 unique writers. 82. He's a junior board member, and him and Olga. And they had 9 new writers last month, I'm sorry. So, Jason, what are you trying to accomplish when you first hire these people?
Big Mike, what's up, buddy? Thanks for having us on. I really appreciate it. Terry was firing me up, and, I was thinking what, Andy and Jane Albright have created a very, very fertile system, a fertile ground for people to grow in. And it's really about just plugging them into that fertile ground and meeting them where they're at. Like Terry said, if you got a person and their dream, their goal is to do $1,000 a month to put their kid into private school or to save for their retirement or to afford a nicer car, that's what you're looking for. And will they go out there and work towards that goal? And what I do is when I recruit people and talk to them and start chatting them up and expound upon the work that we do at the Alliance, it's honorable work, going out there and serving families to protect themselves against, death and, illness is what we got. And we love doing it. And we're looking for people that want to do that. I'm also looking for people, Mike, that can read a resume. What do I mean by that? Like, can you understand that Andy Albright and Jane sacrificed a lot, started this business like a lot of big companies out of their basement and built it up and has made all the mistakes that could possibly be made, and you don't got to make them. If you can just read the 8 steps, the Millionaire Maker Manual, listen to the audio, and then get around the multimillionaires and billionaires that are in this business, you will be successful. So can a person, look at someone else's resume and be like, you know what? That's a good bet. That is a good bet. I'm going to hook my cart to that system, because I don't know anybody who does the 8 steps who's not successful with us. Everybody who does that is massively successful. So when I look for somebody, I'm looking for someone who doesn't live in their past. And guess what? Your past could be one of massive success. Okay? Because that success you're leaving behind for one reason or another, or you're adding us on for one reason or another, or your past could be one of, I didn't hit the goals I wanted to do. I missed a couple of marks. And you're looking for people who just want to forget about all that and live in the present to build the future they want with our system. So when I sit there and talk with them, I'm really trying to get to know them and figure them where they're at. I remember my daddy would say, he'd say, son, you gonna walk that talk? So if you said you was going to do it, you need to go do it. And that's what you're looking for. Will people simply do what they say they're going to do? And we call it GS3. We want to get them started is what we want to do. And how do you do that? You simply talk to them and tell them that, we've got a great system here at the Alliance, and what are their objectives within our system. So whatever that is, whatever the next step is, that's what I get them to do. It could be getting into class. It could be signing up with the carriers. It could be listening to a Gina Hawk's training or something that corporates put together, or Andy Albright. What is the next thing that they can do to help themselves grow and build their business? And then we get them to go out there and do what, set some goals. Set some goals for yourself. What are your goals within our system? How much time are you going to allot to work your insurance business? Maybe you're a single mom or single dad. Maybe you have a full-time job. Maybe you just want to do it part-time. Maybe you just want to get rid of, I recruited somebody yesterday. I was like, I want to quit doing Instacart because I know in insurance you can make a lot more money by going to houses. I'm like, yeah, that is true. So what is your availability? And, how much time are you going to commit to reaching that? And kind of where are you at now financially? Like, what situation are you trying to get out of or trying to better? Do you have support at the house? Terry touched on it. If you got kids, do you have help? Can you get some coverage for the kids? Do you have a stable work schedule? If not, we can have a very flexible schedule here. And then we do a little bit of dream building at that point. It's just like, hey, could you imagine what it would be like if you could just do that? If you could just make an extra $1,000 a month, what would your life look like? And I'm also trying to, when they get exposed to us and they're finding out that we're serious people and we work hard and we listen to the multimillionaires and billionaires in this industry, will they get around us? Will they go to the next big event? We got 4 big events every single year, and that's massive because, Big Mike, here's the deal. Listening to audio and reading books is simple, easy, and very inexpensive. It's that third one. That's the glue. That is ultimately the glue that holds those 3 together. You have to get around the people. You got to break bread with them. You got to be able to reach out and hit them in the shoulder. You got to be able to shake their hand. You got to be able to look them in the eye and read their body language. And that's never convenient. It's never convenient to get around an Andy Albright, a Brian Adams, a Steve Young, a Mark Aceta, a Terry and Tia Edwards. They're busy. They're building their business. So will they go look, you've got to pay for the event. Our next event in Dallas, Texas, January 13th, 14th, and 15th, coming up this January, is only $250. You got to pay for the event. You got to fly out there. You got to get a hotel room. You're going to be invited to a night owl that Rachel and Jared are where we're going to have Mutual of Omaha out there expounding upon their product line and teaching some agents and some providing some, food and beverage out there for the agents to partake in. You've got to get them there. So can they get to that event? Can they get the corporate to do a corporate tour? Can they get to a hotspot, a training event that we do all around the country? Can they, the next event, it could be just the TWC. I talked to people yesterday. I'm like, hey, look, get on this activity call tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. I'll send you the link. And after this call, I'll call them up, say, hey, what'd you think about Terry Edwards, Mike Hartlieb, our system? Can you get them on the product call? So you got to do that, get them there. And then you got to get into what I call the nuts and bolts, man, is get into their schedule. Because all the theory is great. all the mindset stuff is great, but let's me and you come to an understanding. And what is your schedule? Okay, I got it. You work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. But what can you do as a time commitment? What is your ideal plan? You know, can you get on the Wednesday call, the product call, the activity call? Can you listen to an Eric Belair on the product call? And that is, that's world-class training. It doesn't get any better than that, getting training from an Eric Belair. You know, look at the NAA University, the NAA-TV.com. Look at that and tell them about the next big event and put it on their calendar. So you go over their calendar. Maybe they only can run business on a Saturday. So, okay, let's make Dallas Thursday. And you just look at their say, look, this is what over the last 20 plus years, we have found that the thousands and thousands of agents who have your exact situation do well with a schedule and make money with your time. Get your investment return on your time. And so you set that up. Maybe somebody wants to work 80 hours a week. How do they do that? You know, and then you BAM fam them. You book a meeting, BAM fam, book a meeting from a meeting, and you say, okay, great. So let's do that. Whatever that is, jump on the activity call and you say, I'll call you after that or the next day, or you're going on vacation. I'll call you in 2 weeks. Like whatever the next touch point, because it shows you care if you call them up, right? It's like Jason said he was going to call me up and Jason's calling me now, or Terry or Michael Hartlieb, right? Or Andy Albright says he's going to do this and he does it. It builds that trust. Remember, we're trying to have fun, make money, and make a difference. And the only way we can do that is to communicate. I like to talk to agents like, why did you get your license? That's one of the things that really interests me. What made you get your insurance license? I asked them, did a friend get you into business? You know, did you read about it on the Google or the YouTube? Like, how did you find the insurance? But they're 25 years old. They're 38 years old. They're 50 years old getting into the business. Like, why get into the business now? What made you want to become an awesome insurance agent? And they'll tell you, well, I know I can make money in this industry, or I got a friend in it doing it. I'm like, great. You know, and so once you find their motivation, you can actually help them better. And when the other thing, Terry touched on it, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And that's visual. If you're going to be a leader and have other people listen to you and follow you and let them coach you, you coach them, then you've got to go out there and do it no matter what. It could be snow, ice, rain. You could feel a little sick. Like, I understand people get sick and this, that, and the other, but can you get back on the horse and start rocking it out? You know, can you do what you're asking your other agency owners to do that you know works? Because you've talked to Andy Albright, who's a billionaire and got rich doing this business, because he helps a lot of people become very, very wealthy in this business. Just looking for people that they'll do what they say they're going to do is huge. They got to be able to master the mundane, because after you think about it, when you talk to people about what the Alliance is all about, it doesn't change. We're not changing who we are. So you're telling hundreds of people a week or dozens of people a week or a month what we are. And it's the same thing over and over and over again. Here's what I found out, Michael Hartlieb. People don't want to work with Charlie Brown's teacher or Eeyore. They don't want to work with that joker. If you're always down and you're always down, you know, you don't have any energy. Nobody wants to work with that person, because it's just an emotional downer. You want to work with people like a Terry Edwards, a Hartlieb, Rachel and Jared Doucette, a Janina and Kyle Harry, you know, a Gary Philistine and Esther Philistine, a Stephanie, right? A Michelle Colin. These are the people that you want to do that and build a future with, because you can help them reach their goals. And here's the thing. As people grow, they're not only their business, but they're listening to audio, their dreams will grow. Their business goals will grow just naturally from growing yourself and your business and becoming a better communicator, a better leader and talking with people. I was talking with an agent yesterday, and she was telling me, oh my God, I rocked it out 12 hours today from 9 a.m. to 9. I feel so good. I got a lot of energy, and I'm going to do it again tomorrow. And I said, and over 6,000 submitted that week. And I'm like, success builds on itself. And if you keep doing it, you'll have more energy and it will become easier. You're looking for people that just want to go out there and win. And really what I found is, I remember me. I needed a lot of help with that. And what I'm really trying to do is when I get an agency owner that I'm working with who's working or not working, I'm trying to find people that they might know. Now that they've seen the awesomeness of the Alliance, who do they know that could kill it? Not that they'd want to do it. Because I'm like, look, they're very successful. They might not want to do it. They might want to do it. You might not know. But here's what I found. People that are sharp and do what they say they're going to do, know other people that are sharp and do what they say they're going to do. So that person, who's making $150,000 in the welding business or the banking business or the real estate business or whatever they're putting their hand to, might not want to work with us, but they will know people that do want to work with us. So I'm trying to find people that can help them wage a war on poverty. A one-man band can only do help so many families a month. But if you got a team of, 10 people, 5 people, 80 people, 100 people, they can help more families do the honorable work that we do by going out there and getting our products covered with people, Michael. And I want to, I'd be remiss. Terry touched on it. I posted a Craigslist ad, a $25 Craigslist ad, and Terry responded. Now, I didn't make Terry. Terry was an awesome person, him and Tia, but they got to work. They were workers. And I want to thank Andy Riddle for posting an ad on the Facebook. He posted an ad that found my wife, Olga, and found Olga, talked with Olga. She plugged into the system, and then she built her business, Mike, where she was making over $9,000 a month in deposits and retired this banker from Mama Bamel, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, baby. And I started it full time, and I started, listening to Andy and President's Club and Clay Murtis and Lucero Diaz, and people like Robbie Kraft. And they said, do this and don't do that. And that's what I started to do. So thank you, Andy Riddle, for posting that on the Facebook and finding us and getting us free from corporate America. And I like to call it Cubeland USA. Michael, there were over 1,000 people who did my job at corporate America. You can pop your head up at that site we were at. There was over 350 people that did it, on several floors over there in Jacksonville, and over 1,000 people across America. So, we got free. We're looking for people that want to get out of the rat race. We're looking for people that are able to dream, believe, and act. Because if you can get people to dream their dream, whatever that dream is, and you can get them to believe on it and then act on it, the work part, they will be successful in our system. It is 100% guaranteed they'll work in our system. So, Mike, thanks for having me on, buddy.
Killed it. So let me just. This is what I wrote down. This is what you're all saying, and relationships, they all matter. Culture matters. Desire, their dreams. What is it they want? And, I found that you both said plug into the system. Well, the system works. It's the little things that allow us to do the big things. Like you must think that there was pixie dust put on these guys and myself. It wasn't. It was the system that got us to get better. Like listen to the TWC. Like listen to the product call. Like listen to the activity call. And all of a sudden, we think we're too good for it. Oh, hell no.
Yeah, we set, Mike, I set the bar real low for their next activity. Yeah. Will they do that? And listening is great, and what people say is great. But what will they do? And if they'll jump on this call, I got 4 or 5 people that are going to be on this call today, and I'm going to call them up and be like, hey, do you hear Michael Hartlieb? And if they do that, they'll do a little more.
It's amazing because I want to bring Cherry back on here in 1 second, but it's crazy because it's all the little things that add up to be the big things. You know, what we take for granted, we take for granted. We take it, you know, oh, it's only an activity call. Oh, is that all it is? Oh, okay. It's crazy because we call it a big event. You understand that that's all a big event? If it wasn't a big deal, we wouldn't make a big deal about it. So, like, I'm going to talk to all the college-educated people. How much did your college education cost? Okay? Now, compare your college education to what you were making before you came on with the Alliance. Now, compare that cost to what a conference is and how it will change your life. Change my life. So, Terry, add something more, because I know you got more to bring on here, brother.
Yeah, and one of the other things, man, is like making doing business easy. That is very big. Like, I try to figure out what are their barriers, what are going to be their barriers, and how can I make it easier? So, number one, we try to get everybody to read the 8 steps and then do the 8 steps, right? So, one of the first policies that they should write should be a policy on themselves, right? So, if I get kickback from that, okay, I say, hey, did you read that 8 steps of success? No, I ain't read. No, first of all, I gave it to them. So I'm investing. I got tons of these books. I buy them by the droves, right? So I say, hey, look, do me a favor. Can you read chapter 1 and call me back? See, I'm not going to try to tell them. I want them to discover. So they read chapter 1 and call me back. They be like, okay, well, all right. I see what you're saying now. So that's number one. Number two, another way that we try to make it easy is this right here. We have applications, paper apps. Now, I know most of the carriers, you can do electronic apps, but it could take a week for you to get your write-in numbers and access to the back office. That's a week that you ain't out helping families. So what we do is we have applications, and if they're local, we have them packed up. So we give them a package with their ATM and all that stuff, and a package of applications for the most popular carriers and their products. Now, if they are not local, we email them paper applications that they can print and go out and start helping families. Then another thing is this right here. We try to get ahead of the confusion, right? So going over the 100% grid to show you, this is how you calculate your commissions. This is how you calculate your overrides. This is how you calculate your renewals. So then when they finally go out and do something, they still ain't gonna remember what you say at half the time, but at least you told them. And then you can go back to them and say, you remember I said this, this, and this, let's go over it again. That right there builds up trust. When you can give people a preview of coming attractions, when they get punched in the mouth, it ain't gonna catch them by surprise. Only thing I got to do is hug them and try to wipe the little blood off their mouth, give them some salt water, gargle that, come on, we're gonna be okay. So learn, how does the agent levels map work? How does going over the details, right? Some people say the devil is in the details. I like to think the money is in the details. Oh, what about this? After you submit that piece of business, you know you got to work pending. Either you're going to have to do it or you're going to have to hire somebody to call these carriers to make sure that your application gets approved and issued, right? Letting them know, okay, when it's time to start dialing, this is our standard. We make $35 an hour. We book 4 appointments an hour, right? So guess what? Go over them, choose your income sheet. That's one of the things we do. When they tell us how much money they want to make, I pull that sheet out and we go over it. So if you want to make $1,000 a week, you're going to need about $200 worth of leads. You're going to need to make about $200. Then I explain how to use your activity book, right? Then check this out. If you talk to 200 people, you make $200, you're going to probably talk to 20 people. So you're going to talk to about 10% of the dials that you make. So that way, when you feel like you're dialing and nobody answering the phone, let's look at what your numbers are. You remember we said you're going to talk to about 10%. So it's going to feel like you're dialing a lot and maybe not a lot of people answering the phone. But if you're getting 10%, that's a good deal, right? And then of that 20 that you talk to, you should book about, 10 appointments. When you're first getting started, a 50% book ratio ain't bad. Over time, it's going to get better, right? And then of the 50% of the people you book, so you got 10 appointments booked, you're going to probably sit down on about 6 of them, and you're going to close about 3. So helping people know exactly what is ahead and what is coming, if we can make it easy for them, give them a preview of coming attractions, and then provide a safe place for them to land when they get punched in the lip, hey, why would they leave us? Why would they leave, right? So that's the thing, like making it easy, giving people a preview of coming attractions, getting into the details of how to do the mechanics. Make sure that you got your milk crate together. Oh, matter of fact, let me see that ATM. You said you got it printed out. Let me see it so I can look at it. Make sure you ain't got nothing in there that shouldn't be in there. Like holding people's hand every step of the way. And then once they do about 10 apps, the only thing they really need you for is building. Because the sales process is the same thing, rinse and repeat over and over again. Now we got you selling. How about this? I know you told me that you wanted to make $1,000 on top of your salary. That's great. What if I showed you how to do that? But the best value that I can add for you is how I help you build $1,000 in passive income. You get to I work for you. And then voila, you ain't got to ask for a list of names, right? Because they are giving them to you like candy. So it's like making it easy and giving people a preview of coming attractions will help also with retaining people.
That's a big step right there, bro. I mean, you said a couple things here that, again, I'm going to repeat that I heard. You celebrate their wins, but you don't leave them when they have their hard times either. There's nothing worse than being by yourself when you get punched in the lip. And this team will raise you up to keep you from, running the streets naked or jumping off a bridge. I don't know.
Both of those could be pretty traumatic if it's me.
Yeah, if it was me, you know it is. I ain't no Brandon Beal. So, so let's wrap this up now, Terry, and then I'll bring on Jason again. What would be the biggest takeaway people should take from this right now to get them helping people to get moving quick? Biggest takeaway.
Yes. Number one, if you have not registered for National Convention, go to www.theallianceevents, all one word, theallianceevents.com, and go ahead and reserve your ticket. Even if you can't pay the full amount, they done been gracious enough that you can put a down payment to still get a discount. So go ahead on and lock in your spot, because this is what I know. Once you are locked in, now you have moral authority to invite other people to come. So number one, get your National Convention ticket. Number two, clearly identify what a win is for you and communicate that with your growing upline and win. Because when you start winning, you want to tell everybody about that thing that helped you win. Okay? If you love sales and you love helping families, like Jason said, we can only do but so much. There's only 24 hours in a day. And I don't care how good you think you are, you can't create more than 24 hours in a day. We're trying to do something significant, and we're going to need some help. So if something has been a blessing, a benefit to you, why would you be selfish and not share it with other people. Do you think that they want to just stay in their situation? Do you think they don't deserve a shot? Are you taking it upon yourself to make financial decisions for people in your social networks? No, let's shout it out and tell people what we found. See, some people try to sell leads, and leads are good. Some people try to sell the carriers. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we got great leadership. That's great, right? But come on, man. Like, what? We got an opportunity where it don't matter if you got a GED, if you got an MBA, if you got a PhD or player hating degree. You can come here and work and create the lifestyle that you want. The question is this right here. Are you willing to go through the pain? Are you willing to go through the growth? Are you willing to take a licking and keep on ticking? See, because this, I know every day ain't going to be peaches and cream, but guess what? When you get knocked down, how fast can you get back up? How fast can you get back in the fight? And surrounding yourself with people who have been knocked down. See, listen, Jason Mathis looked pretty like he ain't got a scratch on his face. But if you look into his soul, you will find a battered and bruised soul. But on the outside, it looks like he got it all together. That dude done been through some stuff. Mike Hartlieb, you didn't get them grades. You didn't come out with them grades, baby. You done been through some stuff. So surrounding your people who are either in the middle of a battle, going into a battle, coming out, getting around the fire. You can't be around the fire and not smell like smoke. Huh? And if you smell smoke, you know there's a fire somewhere. So it's like, I'm fine. Where's the fire at? Let me get around there. So number one, get your national convention ticket. Clearly identify what a win is for you. Communicate it. Get around the people that can help you get it. And don't take no for an answer. Your dreams are worth every ounce of blood. Your dreams are worth every ounce of sweat. Stephen Davis said this right here. He said, every punch that you're not willing to take is a punch that your children will have to take. I don't want my children to get beat up on some of the same stuff. I am a generational curse breaker. I am a mountain mover. I am an influencer. Type in the chat, I am an influencer. Michael Jordan influences the game. Even if he don't have the ball in his hand, he had to be accounted for. Cam Newton never won a Super Bowl, but he changed the way people looked at the quarterback position. Muhammad Ali, he was the prettiest. He floated like a butterfly and sting like a bee. He changed the way people promoted boxing. What we're about to do, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to change the way people see the industry. We are industry changers. We are mountain movers. We are passionate people that ain't giving up.
Wow. Shicky boom, huh? What do you think about that, Mathis?
I loved it. I mean, I'll tell you, Terry, the number one thing, Mike, is get people to our Dallas convention, January 13th, 14th, 15th, by plane, train, or automobile, hook or crook. Get you and your team there, guys. You got to listen to audio, read books, and get around the people doing it. And it's never easy. It's never simple. It costs a lot of money. It takes planning. You got to get the kids taken care of. You got to get the dogs and cats taken care of. You've got to, plan for grandma because you can't take care of her. Like, for your growth, you've got to be willing to go out there and run it down. And the Alliance, the Alliance has got great cut men in their corner. So when you go out there and you get punched in the face, just run back to your Alliance corner and you'll have a great cut mate in your corner that will get you and pump you back up and, get that lip taped up and get the swelling in the eye down and, and give you some water and get you prepared to go back out there. What I like to tell people, the only way to build yourself is to get punched in the face. That's through your failure. That's the only way to find success is through failure. If you never fail, guess what I know? You're not risking anything. You're not trying to hit no goals. So we like to say fail fast, and through that, you will find your massive success. So you've got to find people that aren't scared and that are humble enough to get coaching. I came into this business in my mid-40s. I'm 53 years young now. And I still listen to Andy Albright and Brian Adams and Steve Young and people like Terry Edwards and Mike Hartlieb and Andy Riddle. Why? Because they're doing it on a bigger, faster, quicker level and reaching their dreams. And that's the only way to do it. Hitch your cart to the Alliance, baby. Get yourself to Dallas, Texas, January 13th, 14th, and 15th, and you will grow. You will learn. You will come out a better business owner, a better leader. And here's what's crazy. You'll come out a better husband, a better brother, a better mate for somebody, a better communicator. You hang around people like Jeff Bright, who knows all these animal and personality tests and how to work with the main animal that looks back at you in the mirror, and you want to take that animal from a kitten to a lion. That's the guy. This is the team. This is the team that can help you do that. We've got a bunch of people who've been down and out, punched in the face, knocked out, and come back and been massively successful. I was looking at my buddy Brian Rojas, what he's been doing, and Stephanie and Michelle and Jared and Rachel and Kyle and Janina Harry and Gary and Esther and Olga's brother, Henry, and just, Yenlifer and Naeen in Miami and all these agency owners that we work with, guys. It is a massive pleasure and honor to be able to work with the Alliance and do the work that we do with with ourselves, the different people that we're trying to impact, and our clients, waging the war on poverty, guys.
Good job there, guys. Let me just wrap it up like this. Conference is everything. The little things are everything. Everybody wants to know the secrets. We just told you the secret, so there is no secret. Just plug into what they're telling you to do, and you will have the same success. Terry Edwards, what a beast. I mean, him and Jason get beast-like results because they do beast-like activity. Andy Riddle, he's so polished. You think he doesn't have any bruises on him? And Albright, he's got more bruises on all of us. So let's just plug in and let's change the world, change your life, and help other people get what they want. All right? What an honor it was to be on the call. Lights out, and let's tear it up this week, guys. Good day.
Record.